Hey all you super players out there, Ben Lodice aka 5 Buck Lunch coming at you with a new deck profile. When I was putting this deck together, I wanted to play Android 21 and the Android ramp cards, but I didn't want to have to play the clone token stuff. So I put together a deck featuring the Krillin leader from, I think it was from the draft boxes a little while ago, and putting together with the Android ramp stuff in order to power out some big cards. So first off, let's take a look at the Krillin leader. When this card attacks a leader card, you may choose one card in your life, add it to your hand. If you do so, draw one card. When life is at 4 or less, choose one energy, switch it to active, and flip this card over. So it has the yellow Broly ability on the front side, so you're going to get to awaken quickly and draw a lot of cards on the front side. On the back side, when this card attacks, draw one card. At the end of your turn, draw one card. Activate once per turn, choose one card in your hand, place it in your drop area. This card gains 5k power and critical for the duration of the turn. So basically, I just wanted a leader that would draw as many cards as possible so that I could get to both my combo pieces and so that I could get enough negates and combo cards to survive to the late turn. Because a lot of times the problem with these ramp decks is you have all these ramp cards, but they're all 10k combos, and you're not going to be able to defend yourself quick enough. So that's why we are playing Krillin. So we can draw a bunch of cards. It's blue, so we have access to Dimension Magic, and just to defend ourselves in order to get to that turn 5, turn 6, turn 7, turn 8 type plays. First off, we're playing 3 Krillin the Cunning. This is just kind of for other ramp type decks. When you play it, you draw a card. Then for the rest of the game, if your opponent wants to untap on their own turn, they have to warp 5 cards out of their drop area. So yeah, it's basically just draw engine and that. We're playing 4 each, Whis' Coercion and Dimension Magic. The reason we're playing so many negates in this deck is since we have so many 10k combos, we can't easily rely on being able to combo over our opponent's attack speed to actually negate them, which is why we play so many of these. Also, since we're drawing so many cards, uh, losing cards to negates really doesn't hurt us at all. 2 Senzu Bean. I'm really worried about a lot of people playing these untap hosing cards, but at the same time, we want to have something to prevent go wide decks, so we're playing 2 Senzu Beans. 2 Absolute Release Balls. These are for later in the game so that your big, huge drops don't get counterplayed. Things like uh, Champa, Yellow Champa that taps Ignoring Barrier, things like that can really hurt this deck, so we're playing Absolute Release Balls for those. For super combos, for Android 17, Protector of Wildlife. Uh, this is the multicolor energy you can play untapped, and also in a pinch against ape decks and things of that kind, we can use its ability once per turn. When your opponent combos, choose up to one of those cards, place them at the bottom of its owner's deck. Then this skill is negated for the duration of the turn. So this just allows us to stop Universe 6 and ape decks from spamming out on the board. Android 16 Energy Amplification. If you have a blue-green multicolor card in your energy, when you play this card from your hand, place the top card of your deck in your energy in rest mode. And you can't play battle cards with power between 30k and 35k for the duration of the game. So none of the things we play, obviously, are affected by that. All our big bombs are 25k, and this just helps us ramp to get to those big bombs. Piccolo Cunning Strategist. 3 cost, 5k combo. Burst 3. When you play this card, choose one Namekian or Universe 7 from your hand with energy cost 4 or less. Negate its skills for the duration of the turn and play it. A lot of times these are just going to be combo pieces. We needed cards in the deck that were 5k combos, and green specifically. But sometimes you'll use it to put in play your 4 Piccolo assimilated abilities. Barrier. Active battle once per turn. Bond 2. Choose one of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost 5 or less and KO it. If you KO a card, draw a card. So this is just part of our engine. We have a lot of cards in this deck with Barrier, so it's very easy for us to keep up that Bond 2, and it makes it very difficult for our opponent to get in for attacks. This is also good with disrupting our opponent's combos. Sometimes we'll go turn 2 Android 16, turn 3 play a Hardcast Piccolo. Sometimes if we miss the Android 16, on turn 3 we can play Cunning Strategist to put it in play. Either way, it's a very strong card, draws cards and gets rid of things. Android 21, the Beautiful Scientist, we play 2. 4-drop blue-green, 10k combo, blocker. When you play this card from your hand, look at the top 7 cards from the top of your deck, choose one among them and place in your energy in rest mode, shuffle your deck. Then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, KO it, and you can't play cards with power between 30k and 35k for the duration of the game. So this is basically a turn 4 Whis that is a blocker and also kills a card. Um, this is really good because we need cards that kill regardless of cost. Piccolo only kills 5 or less. And it also ramps us to get closer to our end game. It can also select from the top 7 to put this card in play. Our 2 of Android 21, a Bad Omen. 5 cost blue green. 1k combo for 1. Active main, 2 blue, 2 green. Play this card from your energy area, so we can put it in our energy with Android 21, and then play it for 4 with its ability. Uh, Auto, choose 1 card for your energy and place it in your drop area. When you play this card, choose up to one of our opponent's battle cards and up to one of our opponent's life, and place them in our owner's drop area. So a couple really important things. One, this card can do damage your opponent can't stop, which is always really, really strong. It also gets rid of any battle card without KOing, which is relevant sometimes, especially if our opponent's playing any of the new revival mechanic. So that's another thing that's really good with this card. 2 copies of Son Goku and Son Gohan Saiyans of Earth. When you play this, 5 cost, 1k for 1, blue green. Arrival, 1 blue, 1 green. When you play this card, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, energy cost 5 or less, put in its owner's energy in rest mode, then your opponent chooses 1 card in their hand and places it in the drop area. A lot of people forget about this card, and that's one of the reasons we're playing it. If they're trying to combo out to kill us with something that's 5 or less, during combos we can put this in play and just get rid of it immediately. It's something a lot of people often forget about with the deck, so that's why we're playing 2 of them. 3 copy of Dragon Fist Super Saiyan 3 Son Goku. 6 cost, 1k for 1. Barrier, Double Strike. When this card attacks, choose up to one of our opponent's battle cards, ignoring Barrier, and return it to its owner's hand. Then choose up to 2 energy and switch them to active mode. So not only is this something we can play on 6, we can untap 2 energy and bounce any card to their hand. So not only does it solve problems, it also untaps energy with Double Strike. Just a very strong card all around, and one of our endgame type cards. 3 copies of Whis, Keeper of Universe 7. 7 drop, 1k for 1, Double Strike Barrier. Only one of these can be in play in your battle area if you have 2 or more multicolor cards in your energy, which we almost always do. It's very rare we get to turn 5 without 2 multicolors in play. Then it's reduced to a 5 cost in your hand, so you can play it for 5. Auto, when your opponent's card attacks a leader card, when your opponent's card attacks the leader card, you may negate the attack. If you do, negate the skill for the duration of the turn. So we can also, once per turn, we just get a free negate. So basically, you slap this down on turn 5, you get a free negate every turn. It's hard to get rid of because it has Barrier. It works very well as a follow-up play to Piccolo Assimilated ability, because those 2 are very difficult to get rid of, and you get a free negate for their big card, and you can kill their smaller card. 3 cost, Android 21, Violent Predator. 1k for 1, triple attack, deflect. When you play this card from your hand, choose all your opponent's non-multicolor energy and battle cards, ignoring Barrier. Negate their skills, return them to their owner's decks. All player who has cards return to their decks, shuffle their decks. So this is one of our endgame win cons. It's going to be very useful against any deck that doesn't play a lot of multicolors. Things like Hatchy Hack, things like Universe 6, decks that just aren't multicolor focused. One of the nice things about this deck is in the Android deck, this is kind of really your only finisher. And if you're playing like a Mirror or another deck that has a lot of multicolors, this card actually doesn't do that much. So it's nice that this deck has multiple other win conditions that we can use while still having this in our repertoire for certain decks. We're also playing one of the Secret Rare, Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, Peak of Primitive Power. Ultimate, Arrival, 3 blue, 2 green. When you play it on your turn, it gets Double Strike, Critical, and Triple Attack. If you play it on your opponent's turn, you get to choose 1 card ignoring Barrier, place it in its owner's drop area, and then ramp 2 cards. So this is actually a really good card because we can very easily use either side. If we need a win con, we can play it on our turn, and it's just a massive threat. But also, a lot of times we're going to want to play it on our opponent's turn because it allows us to go from 6 to 8 energy in 1 turn. And actually from 5 to 8 energy if you include your charge for the turn, which allows us to play Android 21 a lot earlier than our opponent would expect and can usually catch them off guard. So honestly, a lot of times if you can get Android 21 and Vegeta in your hand, then you can pretty easily hit your opponent with that Android 21 on turn 5 or turn 6, and it's a lot more devastating because it's earlier. So yeah, if you like control decks, this is a very strong control deck. I actually much prefer a deck like this than the full Android ramp into Android 21. I believe this is just a lot more multi-dimensional, has a lot more actual threats, and you see so many more cards. Plus, you don't have to worry about all those clone tokens, because while some of the clone token effects are good, and having the ability to prevent your opponent from their first card they play from attacking every turn, when it comes down to it, you are giving your opponent more attacks, and if they have a deck that draws a lot of cards, that's going to be a problem for you. Um, Whereas this card, you can kind of regulate how many cards your opponent has on the board with things like Piccolo, Assimilated Ability, Beautiful Scientist, and Assassin's 3 Son Goku while working towards your big wing cons like Android 21, Goku, and Whis. And yeah, it's very difficult to play through too because negates are really powerful right now. And so yeah, I think this deck's gonna be very strong going forward. I'm going to be changing it. Some other things I'm looking at doing right now is possibly playing it with Harutagon or another blue leader. So if anyone has any ideas about that, please leave them in the comments. Please like, subscribe, go out there, play some super, and have some fun.